I guess to me, it is the hypocrisy and the weaponization that is far greater than the mismanagement of the reserve currency. And what really makes it, I think, worse, which accelerates the de-dollarization and the de-treasurization, is the moral fabric decaying in this country. If you're not a contrarian right now, damn well bound to be a victim. And
welcome to a crucial update from Andy Schectman, CEO of Miles Franklin. Our economy is at a breaking point. Massive debt, suppressed interest rates, and distorted asset prices are just the beginning. Political corruption, media manipulation, and rampant inflation mask a crumbling foundation. With global trust in the dollar fading and countries like China unloading U.S. treasuries, we're at a pivotal moment. Stay with us as we uncover the truth behind these alarming trends and what they mean for your financial future.
Massive debt. But I mean, to me, the debt is kind of the sideshow. Yeah, the debt, it would be a reason for people. At some point, the debt has to matter, right? And interest rates that have been suppressed forever, that have created distortions in asset prices, all these things have to matter. We once had a very thriving economy. I think it's been brought to its knees by things like political corruption, manipulation of the news, inflation, the printing of money that gives the illusion of a thriving economy when you see just a handful of stocks pushing the whole indice up. And you realize that the Russell 2000, as an example, which is a much broader indication of the economy, most of it's underwater. If you spent $100 every second of every day, it would take you almost 2,000 years to equal just the 6.2 trillion we've spent in the last 12 months. This is the kind of, I don't know, excess spending, and you mix into it the meddling in affairs of other nations that I think accelerate the decline of the dollar. You're seeing countries like China unload $53 billion in treasuries a month ago. You're seeing what's happening all around this country politically, socially, morally, all of these things, they all have significance. But to me, none of it all pales in comparison to the betrayal of trust. As Putin described where we are right now at this meeting recently that he had in Novograd, he came out and said that the Bretton Woods system is dead and that the dollar is backed by nothing other than trust. And when you talk about trust, a country that has really betrayed it by weaponizing the dollar, stealing it in essence, taking the reserves of the Russian government and using the proceeds to buy weapons to give to the country Russia's fighting a war against. That's a line you can never come back from. And the world looks at us as being very hypocritical. We've talked about that forever, where we can give $260 billion to the Ukraine with no congressional oversight. But if anyone else gives any money to Russia to fight the Ukraine, well, they get sanctioned and threatened. And we're a country that has no fiscal responsibility or monetary responsibility. Where $1 trillion seconds ago was 31,688 years ago, and we're creating $1 trillion in debt every 100 days. We are impoverishing our children and our grandchildren. There will be a consequence for all of this. But I guess to me, it is the hypocrisy and the weaponization that is far greater than the mismanagement of the reserve currency. And what really makes it, I think, worse, which accelerates the de-dollarization and the de-treasurization, is the moral fabric decaying in this country, because the United States used to stand for so much, and it seems that it doesn't at this moment. And at least that's the image that we are portraying to the world. So I think if you're not a contrarian right now, Danny, you're damn well bound to be a victim. And I don't look at gold as an investment. To me, it's wealth. And not only is it the only other tier one asset in the world as reclassified by the most influential bank on the planet, the central bank, the BIS, but it's being accumulated by the central banks at levels the world has never seen. And in terms of international reserves, it's up to almost 18%, which is the most in almost 30 years. And it's the second largest asset now held in central bank reserves, surpassing the euro for the first time ever. So it's slowly gaining traction, but only with the central banks, right? So the people in the West are asleep as the central banks are literally accumulating everything that's not nailed down using the Western paper price, the suppression of it, the massive leverage of the Western markets to drain the exchanges, delivery cycle after delivery cycle when no one's paying attention. And you see, everyone's invested in NVIDIA and Apple and Bitcoin. At the same time, they're missing out on what is a shift of, I think, a shift of what is considered money. I think gold, it has been remonetized in most of the world. It is now replacing the treasury because it can't be confiscated, because it can't be defaulted. Just all of those answers that you gave, in essence, what the question should have really said is, do you feel that gold, in essence, replaces the treasury market? The treasury market, if you look at the 10-year treasury, gold has doubled its performance for the last 25 years, doubled. And it has no counterparty liability. It has that historical significance. It can't be inflated away or defaulted upon. It is now the second largest asset in central bank holdings. It is the only other tier one asset in the world. And I think when you realize and look at it that way, a country that should be clinging and nurturing its world reserve status as a privilege, we've done everything we can to shed it and lose it. So it's not even as much gold as it is the dollar. And unless you think the dollar will spike in value for some reason, then holding gold right now has never been more important and probably carrying the least amount of downside risk, even though we're at or near all-time highs, because I think the dollar, in essence, is getting close to, the ninth inning or maybe the end of the ninth inning in terms of its run. And gold is just being, I think, these central banks are recognizing gold once again for what it truly is and what it has always been, and that is, wealth. So, I don't think that people really need to worry about gold falling to the downside unless you think there's a miraculous rebound in global strength and trust in the dollar and in the U.S. Treasury market.
Thank you for joining us as we unpack these crucial insights from Andy Schectman. Our economic landscape is fraught with challenges, from massive debt and political corruption to fading global trust in the dollar. As we navigate these turbulent times, staying informed is your best defense. If you found this discussion valuable, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more in-depth analyses and strategies. Hit the notification bell to stay updated with the latest developments. Share your thoughts and questions in the comments below. Let's build a community ready to face these challenges together. Remember, understanding the truth is the first step to securing your financial future. Until next time, stay informed and stay prepared.